Warrington went electric, and I've not been back since. Until now. We tried something new here, booked one of the early morning public sessions in the hope for fewer people. It mostly worked as well, to be fair. We were booked on the 9:15 session, but noticed the 9 o'clock session only had 3 people on it. So we jumped on the first one of those too. After the flag tests were out of the way, the now silent venue filled with the squealing of tyres. This is the only section of track to have changed layout. Rather than going behind the ramp, around and up, it's now just a left up the ramp.
Oh, that's a big jump.
And a jump, slightly bigger than I expected. Say, clear track ahead, so let's set a benchmark lap time. Maybe not, we get interrupted by a yellow flag. There is a kart ahead, but let's try that once more. And I'm straight into the 54-second mark. I'm happy enough with that, and you may have spotted that I pressed the boost button in a couple of places. It only worked on the second, that's going down the ramp, as it hadn't reset for the first press through the S's. I used the boost to get past this kart, but it is a slow lap. And that was not the tidiest lap either, and I'm now committed to using the boost button going down the ramp. But I've improved quite a bit. I'd quite like to get below a 54.5 on this session, as I know the next two are going to be much busier. So there's just a little more to find then. And there it is, I meet my target. Even if I fail to improve further in this session, I'm happy with that. My first 8 laps in these electric karts here at Warrington. As I round turn 3, a kart is facing the wrong way though. So will this bring out more flags? Yes, it does.
Oh, I needed that brake.
It's a tough, bumpy track and I really needed a rest.
Such hard work. See if Dan will catch up.
I go extra slow to see if Dan can catch up, so we can have a bit of fun on track perhaps. I'm trying to line up switchbacks on this sliding kart ahead, but can't quite get far enough alongside for the S's. So we'll do it here instead. I get caught out by this kart coming through this final chicane. And after going deep into turn 1, Tom gets past. Let's watch his line then and see what he can do. Unfortunately, the yellow flags appear for the end of the session. So I'm third fastest in that session then. Tom went quickest with a 54.3 and Dan was slightly behind me with a 55.0. We start this session with another flag test as it's the first session for the main group of drivers. But the kart ahead is saying his kart is still on speed 1, that's the pit lane speed limiter. And you can see the moment that it clears back onto speed 3. We're at the back of a group of 13 drivers, so I decided to try and hold back a bit and let them sort themselves out first. They're mostly single file ahead now, so let's see how this session goes. Okay, so it will be hard work, but I've still got Tom and Dan in my sights just up ahead. He didn't seem to like that as he kept turning into me. I forgot it was a public session for a moment there. Up ahead, Dan and another driver discover that 2 into 1 just don't go. So as you'd expect, the yellow flags come out. We do go to greens and I get into a small tangle with this car, allowing Tom to jump back ahead. But it's only for a moment. I'll do a switchback from their tight line and sweep around the outside to complete the pass. Lovely. That wasn't a tidy lap, but it is an improvement. That is much better. I guess the aim for the rest of this session, or the next one, is a 53-second lap. Traffic interrupts the flow on this lap though. As Tom moves to the inside, I take to the outside, but it is Tom that gets the position. The driver then helpfully spins out for me. After chasing Tom for a bit, I back off.
Slow laps, because my back is killing me.
I realised afterwards that I've got the seat in the wrong position and it's hurting my back quite a bit. I catch Tom under the yellow flags as he'd slowed to tell me
I forgot they had that.
that he forgot about the boost button.
Pulling away from me.
No need to worry though, Tom, you were still fastest. It's another third fastest time for me. Tom and another driver did break into the 53-second lap times on this one. Dan was still fourth, but had improved to a 54.1. One more to go then. Not quite sure what their plan was there, but it's caused a yellow flag as they got stuck on the barrier. This is looking more like a public Warrington session. Tom waves me through as he can't find a way past the cart ahead. Which means I get a much better view of this incident. Which of course brings out a red flag. Whilst you don't really pay attention to it whilst driving, the brake light comes in handy here. The driver was too busy looking behind them, they didn't actually hit the brakes until they hit Dan. Strangely though, Dan got black flagged for it. Apparently he went for the move. Odd. After the session, Dan did show my video to another marshal who agreed that it couldn't have been his fault, so there was that at least. Remember, this is a public Warrington session. We've got a few members on, but it wouldn't be Warrington without lots of yellow flags. Dan peels into the pits to serve his black flag. Kart 25 ahead here is the other driver involved in Dan's incident. I'll be giving him a bit more space. Having passed in turn 1, I felt a dive bomb coming, so I left plenty of space. More switchbacks on this lap, and I'm now past him. There's one more kart then, and it looks like I'll get some clear track finally. I know I'm a fair bit quicker through the first few turns, so I'll need to capitalise on that when I can. They go deep into turn 3, so I get myself alongside. They look to their right and see me, and still just close off the gap.
I can't disappear.
Had they left a kart width, they wouldn't be in the barrier. If they hadn't looked at me first, I'd not have shouted at them. Still, it's not really affected me other than the yellow flags, which take so long to clear. I've completed a full lap and need to pass them again. At least with the massive speed difference, it was pretty easy this time around. This time, I'm not alongside, so I lift and we make it through cleanly. But that is the end of the final session though. I didn't get a clear lap and actually wasn't able to improve in this session at all. I'll have to come back to get into the 53 second laps another time. Tom once again was fastest with a 53.3. Somehow Dan had gone second fastest this time with a 54.2, so still slower than my previous time. I dropped to fourth this time, but I had fun anyway. So with the corrected seating position for that final session, I didn't have issues with my back, which was nice, but I am still feeling a bit of overall pain at the moment. Warrington was a hard track in the petrol karts and 1 minute laps. Add the quicker karts and despite the reprofiling of a few sections, it's still hard work on your body. So that's it for this visit to Warrington, but it's not all the karting for the day. We all jump into my bus and head to Liverpool to check out the recently reopened track and directly compare the electric Sodi karts. That'll be in next week's video with a bonus second video too. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on the bonus Speed 4 goodness. As always, thank you so much for joining me on my go-karting adventures then. If you've enjoyed this one, please do hit the like button and leave any feedback down below in the comments. Where do you use the boost button when you're driving around Warrington? This trip was organised quite last minute and I know a couple of you missed my social post. I will be back to Warrington at some point and I will this time get messages sent out for that one. I'm sorry that you missed me this time around. Until Liverpool next week, cheers.